proud of our group, proud of our fight at the end. It was a hard-fought game against two good teams. I think Ohio State had two of the elite playmakers, not just in our league, but college basketball, and hard shot makers. But as we always do, this league is loaded with great teams and really good players. We just saw two of them, and now we get to move to Michigan, and we get a couple more. And so it's not time to hang your head. It's time to move on. And we last game with Michigan, obviously Hunter didn't play. He's one of the elite players in this league. So it's you can really kind of scrap a little bit of the what we saw in the last game, but they're shooting the ball better. Houston's playing better. They're a team that is very lethal in transition. They get a lot of threes in transition. We got to be dialed in and take that away, and then make them guard us. And they're playing a lot more zone. They're pressing some. Now they did not do that with Phil in their last game against Rutgers, but again, we got to be dialed into all the little things, and that's what I'm stressing with our group. This thing's about the little things. It's about communication. It's about talking. It's about charges. It's about setting great screens. It's about playing harder. It's all the little things, and you handle the little things, and a lot of other positive things will happen. So on to Michigan, and expect a hard-fought game on national television. We'll see what it looks like.
Good morning, Coach. Could you talk a little bit about the matchup between Kofi and Hunter Dickinson? That's going to be one of the big storylines. Seems like two players with two different styles of play.
Yeah, I think the one thing that Hunter's done is he's playing a lot more, maybe because of personnel, away from the basket. That's not to say he's not gifted. He's a very, very gifted. He's got elite hands. He's got got the ability to pick and pop. But where he really hurts you is not necessarily just shooting it out there, but passing it. Diabate back into play now gives them a lot of size up front, and he's a guy that allows Hunter to play outside. So I would expect them to try to draw Kofi away from the rim a little bit. It'll be a hard-fought battle between those two as it was last year.
What else can you tell us about Michigan and some of the keys for your team defensively?
Yeah, we've got to guard. We've got to take away transition. They're very, very good in transition, and you've got Brooks playing at a very high level, averaging 14, 15 a game here over the last 5 or 6 games. He's a guy that never comes off the floor for them. He's their version of Trent. He makes shots. They run action to him. And then Caleb Houston is a guy that, had 5 threes in their last game. He's playing at the speed of a college game now, where maybe he wasn't, and he's more acclimated to it. He's running really hard. He's doing a lot of positive things for them. So, it's a big part of it. And then you've got to handle their changing defenses when they throw that at you.
Thanks, Coach.
Brad, I know you said that you implemented coordinators in the preseason with your assistants, and that's why it worked out as well when you got ejected. But is it safe to assume that maybe like a COVID protocol was put in place to where if you got popped and you weren't even be allowed on the bench, that's kind of what allowed the seamless transition to happen when you got ejected Thursday night?
Yeah, maybe. I think the one thing that's, our coaches coach now, and I mean, they're not just figureheads. They're not just guys that go stand at, that come stand and practice and don't get involved. These guys know every aspect of what's going on. We meet daily. We're dialed in on specific sides, and That's helped us a great deal. I feel great about where that's gotten our program. It was a change we made. I like it. And again, so I think it helps, Chester be really focused on what the other teams are doing offensively. He makes a lot of changes for us there, as does Jeff on the offensive side. So it's there's a lot of suggestions there, and those guys are great at what they do.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.
Hey, Coach, in the past, you've spoken a lot about how much you like transfers to be able to like come in and sit out and learn the philosophy of the program and everything. But Alfonso didn't have that opportunity. He still had a lot of success. What do you think has allowed him to be so successful?
Well, he's a terrific young guy. I mean, he is a high character kid. He works extremely hard. His work ethic has allowed him to fit right in. And it's not as easy as he's made it look. Just learning different language, different teammates, he's excelling in the classroom at a high level in grad school. I mean, he is, he's very, very well-rounded. And, if you're not that, it gets pretty hard to be successful. But, his work ethic allows him to. He's got tremendous, give a damn factor, in everything he does, not just basketball, but school. And, so there's an internal drive there that he has that's allowed for a lot of that.
You obviously talk a lot about the need to get in the gym and do extra work, whatever. But when Alfonso was in the transfer portal, you're scouting any of these guys in the transfer portal. How do you, I guess, estimate or gauge whether or not they're going to be hard enough workers for your program and they're going to fit in that area?
Yeah, I mean, when you make phone calls and then you dig deep, you find out. And we obviously had some connections and through his Puerto Rican ties, and you dig into those, you find out what he's about. You the shortcomings, the strengths, and you make a determination on whether those positives are more than the shortcomings, knowing you're only going to have them a year. And the biggest challenge is how much can you change and mold guys in a year. That's the hardest thing to do. That's why transfers, 1-year transfers are having the success he's had. You commend him because it's really, really hard to do.
Hey, Brad, what are the, challenges and a new coach, but a temporary coach at Michigan compared to what you saw earlier? What do they do different with Phil than they did with Juwan, and how do you guys approach that?
Well, I think we'll find out as we continue to go. The first game was they were pretty limited. You had 2 guys that were out that didn't play. He didn't play as much. You start looking at those guys' minutes, and I mean, they were all 35 to 40 minutes, pretty close. There wasn't a lot of change going on. They did what they do offensively. You're not going to reinvent the wheel. Phil's one of the most successful coaches in the history of the game. So, that's not like he hasn't slid over and been in that seat before. He's been there for a whole bunch of games. So, how the 2 guys coming back impact what they do, I don't know. We'll find out. It's kind of a crapshoot. But the biggest change is they didn't play zone, and they've been playing a good amount of zone in some previous games.
And then do you have a timeline on RJ's recovery, and what are the challenges for a freshman who was really starting to get his feet wet and find his groove, and now he's got to pause for however long?
I don't have a timeline. He'll meet on Monday. I know that, back with the doctor in terms of what his mobility was, what his mobility is able to start getting back to in terms of when you have a procedure done on your in your stomach area, in your abdomen, you're not going to try to rush anything there. But he's he'll meet early next week. We hope we can start getting him moving again and see what that looks like. And I don't have a timeline, but yeah, it's not easy. I mean, it was his time. It was his time to really start to be an impactful player. And I made that comment before the Michigan State game. I just felt like he was ready to be thrust into a little bit different role with some different expectations, and was excited about getting him going here as we head down the stretch of the season and the Big Ten tournament. But obviously you get sidetracked a little bit, and that expectation is not going to change. We'll see how he comes back and go from there.
Thanks, Brad.
Brett, does your relationship with Kofi allow you to be harder on him in a sense? He said he wants that from you guys. What do you have? Is that kind of like Io, where you can be harder on him after a game where he goes for 12-3?
Yeah, very much. You can't have a very good program, in my opinion, if you can't coach your best players, and you can't demand more from them. And that it's been that way with Trent. It's been that way with Io. I'm a guy that puts really unrealistic expectations on those guys and demand more from them than they probably demand from themselves. But for me, that's what keeps pushing them to be better than they think they can be. So I coach Kofi hard. I coached Io hard. Great players are never going to truly be great players unless they can accept coaching and deal with it. And otherwise they slide back into just being a pretty mediocre player if they don't take coaching. That's my opinion.
Yeah, Ben's still in the protocol as well, Brad?
He is.
Thanks.
Hey, Brad, you mentioned Thursday night just about how sometimes the offense has been Kofi overload and you're trying to get more guys into actions. Just how do you strike that balance, though, where you obviously want to get the ball to, National Player of the Year candidate, but, maybe that's not always going to be, the option.
It's some of our best offensive sequence has been, obviously with Plummer and Trent going. You can think back to different games this year. The challenge is, in Ohio State's case, some of the defensive stuff that they did, to Plummer in the second half, taking some of that stuff away. And that's again why you've got to have multiple options. But we saw Jake step up. You score, 83 points or whatever. That should be enough to win. And Kofi missed 9 layups. So, he makes half those and you're in a different perspective. But again, we're still trying to find that right balance. And I say that right balance, it's not to eliminate that dry spell. What creates that? And it's missed shots. It's a couple turnovers. It's missed free throw. We got a chance to go up 9 and Coleman misses a front end of a 1-on-1. We had DeMonte's flagrant foul, takes a possession away. All those things become momentum killers. And, you've got to eliminate those and you got to make those plays.
I guess maybe how much of it is just the fact that it's late February and teams have had a season worth of film to scout, and maybe is it tougher to run offense now? It's maybe in the Big Ten, especially.
Every game's its own identity. I mean, do you guys not like any of the shots Kofi got the first half? I mean, my goodness, those are the same shots he's made. I think, we got, Plummer made 8 threes. I think we got him the shots, that we felt good about. I thought Trent turned a few down. I like, we played some 5-out late, midway through the second half. I love that with Coleman and some of those actions. And we got great looks, and truly the only stop that they made late was the non-foul call on Trent at the end of the game where he gets put on his head. And that was the only stop. So I think offense we're getting the right shots. I really believe that.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned wanting Trent to be more aggressive. What do you want that to look like in terms of his approach? And then is it trying to run more stuff to get him going early? Or is it, I know you said that he's maybe turned down some looks as well.
I lost you on the back half of that, Derek.
I know you said that you wanted to get Trent going. Is that maybe trying to run some stuff to get him going earlier? I know you also mentioned he's turned down some looks, so it's just a matter of taking those.
Yeah, I just want him to take them. I want Trent thirsty to score. And when he's that way, Trent is the ultimate team guy. He's trying to do, he knew we had Plummer going the other night. He's running offense to get Plummer going. He's making great passes to Kofi. And yet they went under him twice on a ball screen. He's got to shoot those shots. And, we don't need to be saved by Trent in the last 6 minutes. And that's the only time he's looking to score. We need that. He needs to find that comfortable balance. And I talked with him yesterday about that.
I know Coleman's becoming an important piece in general with his energy, but when you look at a like-sized guy at the 4 and Diabate, how important is he in this particular game?
Huge. And Coleman's a guy that we can do different things with. Like I said, I mean, his passing, his ability to drive the basketball. He's finally learned a 2-foot jump stop. That worked out great for him in the Ohio State game and spray it, and he got fouled. But defensively, he's a guy that the shot EJ hit was special. I mean, there's not 5 guys in college basketball making that shot over a 6'10" guy with lean and fadeaway. And that was elite defense on his part, just better offense.
Thanks.
Hey, Brad, you were clearly frustrated on Thursday. Have you chatted with anybody at the Big Ten about officiating in that game or a bigger discussion about it?
I lost all that. I didn't hear anything about.
You were obviously frustrated on Thursday. Have you talked with anybody in the Big Ten about officiating either in that game or a larger discussion about it here?
Yes.
In the last few days?
Yes, I'll leave it between me and the office.
Gotcha. If I could, one more. You had talked about, I mean, having just a couple of curveballs in your pocket right now, be it RJ when he's back or Coleman or Luke. Well, it's kind of late to have that. I mean, what kind of advantage does that give you, or maybe even challenges to work some of those curveballs into what you guys have going now?
I didn't quite catch all of that. I don't know if it's my signal or yours.
I mean, you talked about having some curveballs on Thursday night, be it Coleman or RJ when he's back, to try to work those in now. I mean, I would imagine there's both some advantages, but also maybe some challenges and kind of figuring that out.
Yeah, you double down on what you do really, really well. You want to keep doing those things. But it's I go back to, some of my earlier days, at SFA. I mean, having a wrinkle, last year and evaluating last year, we didn't play in the short pocket enough. We were, and that was more limited because of Georgie and Kofi's abilities and what we were committed to and just rolling all the time. Coleman gives us that. RJ gives us some ability to play open. You put Curbelo in an open court, and those are all things that can be very positive for us as we move down the stretch and stuff we've been working on in practice.
Thank you, Brad.
Brad, you mentioned Kofi, but is there a way to get him to play meaner in a sense? And I don't mean like hurting somebody, but in a sense, bigger people like him tend to play subconsciously like I'm going to hurt somebody and kind of get him out of that mentality. And you asked, dude, I like the shots he took. Yeah, but I would have preferred he dunked the ball a little bit more instead of lay it up. Is that a conversation that's happened?
Matt, you get said in my conversation. That's what the hell I told him. It's there's when you get beat on, I can't even imagine. I mean, there is a play where EJ Liddell is sitting on his head, literally sitting on his head, and he is getting his arms broke at the elbows, getting crushed on a smackdown, and there's no call. at some point, when is, I mean, he literally says it all the time. I feel like I could kill somebody every time if I just pivot. And yet, he makes one pivot the other night, and again, it was an offensive foul. It's so hard to even tell him what to do. The main thing we've tried to stress with Kofi for 3 years is just maintain your composure, and don't let that happen. And yeah, do you need to play angry? Probably a little more. I don't know. I'm at a loss. I don't know what to tell him. And when we get it called like it was last night or the other night, where there's, he brought the ball down. Some of them were probably clean, but some of those were just not. And he's got to play more, in a more violent way.
Thanks, Brad.
Coach, you talked about striking a balance with Trent. Seems like a pretty big thing with the Curbelo as well. How do you balance Andre's ability to go get a bucket, with the ball in his hands, with the need to move the ball and operate within the structure of the offense?
Bello was terrific the other night. He was terrific. He played great. And again, it's a lot of it is goes back to a little bit of what we did with Io, and it's Io could go get a shot anytime he wanted. All we had to do is put him in a ball screen. Curbelo can go make a play anytime we want. All we have to do is put him in a ball screen. We have to choose, when to do that. The coverages that we see from other teams determine that. And you can't go multiple possessions without other guys touching the ball. And that can happen very easily when you start ball screening all the time. And if that's the challenge. So you've got ball screens, you've got continuity, you've got mass movement, and we run all of those things so that everybody can stay involved. And you've got a guy with a great gift in Curbelo who can go get one anytime and get in the paint every time. And it's basically he makes the right reads most every single time.
One more quick one, if I could. What'd you think of watching the tape? What'd you think of Luke Goody's play against?
Great, terrific, tough as nails, chased balls, had a 3 go in and out, gritty. He's got a great knack of chasing the basketball. We need his rebounding. He played great defense, a couple possessions when he was matched up on EJ. Terrific. A+.
Thank you.
Brad, if I could
Yeah, Coach, I guess kind of a different angle here. I know you always appreciate the Orange Crush's support and them making noise and everything, but Coach Holtman said something after the game about things that were being said at one or two of his players, and EJ Liddell sent out a tweet yesterday. Is there kind of an importance of them striking a balance with not crossing a line with things that are said or not said?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that until obviously there was stuff said. I think that it's obviously a small percentage. We got a great home court. The one thing I personally don't do is ever comment about another person's crowd. I think that we've got great fans and we want to be we want to be as classy can be and still be the best fan base in the country. And if one or two or a small percentage carried that across, that's not us. That's not who we want to be. It's not what we're about. But we've got the best fans in the country. I say that all the time. And he's a terrific player. And if something was said, my apologies. I didn't know about it. I don't comment on anybody else's either. So I'm a pretty easy target.
Hey, Brad, if I could just kind of a random one here, and I know you have 3 guys in the 22 class, but Ty's obviously in state and they're making a run here a little bit in the postseason. I'm sure you've seen stat lines and game film. What have your impressions been of what you've seen out of him this year?
Oh, Pretty good. What is there not to like? There's nothing not to like. He is do it all. He's one of the best. I think he's one of the best players in the country. I think he's one of the most ready players in the country. Physically, passes it, IQ, athletically, great body. Yeah, and he's been pretty good. Makes me smile.
Thanks, Brad.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and then we'll hold on till Derek gets Plum on here in just a moment. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Ken, we've moved down here. Can you hear me okay? I'm worried
Yeah.
about our Wi-Fi today.
Yeah, we have good sound here.
Okay, good. I hope it.
I can't see Plum. You need to
Yeah, he's
adjust
sitting out
your
there.
angle.
Yep. I'm getting him in and getting out. Okay, we're good, Kent.
Can you adjust the angle just a little bit?
I'm sorry.
And go up.
Yeah.
There you go. There you
All
go.
right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good morning, Alfonso. Coach Underwood talked a lot about your transition to Illinois being made easier because you worked so hard, and to use his words, you have a give a damn factor. Where does that come from in your desire to just work so hard?
I mean, I come from like a lot of like underrated, situations in my life. Like when I started playing basketball, I always was like the smallest, what I'm saying, in every team I played. Or like my body was like, the biggest compared to other guys. So like people just started doubting me, like, who he probably if he plays, he's probably gonna be like average player, you know what I'm saying? He's probably fast, but he's not like long enough to, compete in a higher level. So I always work myself, to just be great what I'm doing, always like trying to bring my energy every day when I shoot the ball, when I play defense. I feel like every time I do it, I have to show people that I can do it, you know what I'm saying? So that's my motivation every day. I just wake up to, to be great, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get better on my shot, trying to get better on defense, and find ways to just shut people down, you know what I'm saying? Just shut all the doubters that I'm a great player, and it doesn't care about the size. I'm gonna be a great player.
So in other words, you just carry yourself with a chip on your shoulder because people have always doubted you.
Yep.
Thanks, Alfonso.
Yeah.
Alfonso, I'll go. How old were you, or how did you realize that you're this kind of shooter? Like, do you remember the moment where you're like, I'm kind of doing this better than most of my peers?
When I was 12, because before 12 I was just a driver. Like I was like aggressive player. I remember like I was like all left-handed, like just going to the basket trying to get a foul. But my dad said like I'm not gonna be that tall, and like when I play, if I want to play in the high level, you're gonna be able to shoot over tall defenders. So he like teach me the art of shooting, because he was a pro. He was a pro shooter. So he like teach me a lot how to like like the mechanics and how to jump high, and what I'm saying, the perfect rhythm to be a great shooter. So after 12, I felt like I practiced on myself a lot, almost every day, and I feel like I kind of like got it real quick. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm for sure gonna be a good shooter, because I started making a lot of shots compared to other kids. Like everybody was pushing the ball when it was 12, and I was already jumping. Like my jumper was already like just smooth. So I feel like I'm gonna be a great shooter when I saw that.
So you're hitting 6 3-pointers in the first half. Can you best describe the feeling that comes over you? I mean, is it no one can I mean, it doesn't matter what they do to me. Like what comes over you when you're starting to bury all those?
It's just like confidence, you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, people be like, oh, you gotta face guard him, or you gotta put a bigger guard on him so like he can't like feel uncomfortable when he shoot. But I feel like when I'm playing with confidence, like it doesn't matter. Like to me, to be honest, the only people who can stop me is myself. You know what I'm saying? My mindset, what I'm thinking in the game. Like if I block my mindset, I'm gonna be like, okay, like probably gonna have a bad game because I'm thinking negative. But like if I play positive and I always like trying to get my shots move in the court, it doesn't matter what they do. Like at the end of the day, I'm gonna make shots. You know what I'm saying? So it's about confidence.
Thanks, Alfonso. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alfonso, you're a shooter. Obviously, we all knew that, and you're shooting the ball really well. But what is it about this Illinois program and the coaching staff that they were able to pull some other things out of you and expand your game defensively and other aspects of your game?
Yeah, they recruit me because they knew like they need shooters, right? But at the end of the day, this program stands for be the best player you can be. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I saw a lot of players like getting better. Like Daniel Sumu came here and he got better in 1 year. DeMonte, he's like he can play 1 to 5. You know what I'm saying? He can make shots too. Trent Frazier is one of the best defenders in the nation, and he can make shots too. You know what I'm saying? So I was looking at that before I came to school. I was like, well, if I can make shots, I'm trying to be that two-way guy. And I know this program is stand by that. So I was just like, you know what I'm saying, just waiting for my moment. And I was like, yeah, I'm coming to the school and I feel like this coach is gonna push me in the way I want it. So yeah, like they just helped me how to like be a great two-way player and how to make plays. Because in Utah, I wasn't making plays either for my teammates. And this year I got the ball more in my hands, doing stuff for my teammates. So I feel like I'm doing a great job. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I got better as a player.
Is there a shooting the ball? Is there a flow that you get into where you're hunting shots, or does it all come within the structure of the offense?
Well, it depends. Like sometimes like I break the offense. Something when I miss the shot, coach get mad at me because you know what I'm saying. But like at the end of the day, he knows like my confidence. He knows like he needs that in the game, like my energy and how I create space for others. Like he gonna get mad obviously because I break the offense, but at the end of the day, he like he needs that. But yeah, I feel like like I said before, when I play with confidence, it's just different. You know what I'm saying? I just open spaces for other guys and I bring a lot of attention. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Alfonso, just Coach Underwood's kind of talked a little bit about just what it takes to break out of maybe some of these scoring droughts you guys have been on. Just what do you feel like maybe you need to do? Like when you're getting the shots you want, they're not falling, and maybe just things are starting to spiral a little bit.
Well, before that game, I had like 2 games that I didn't score 3, and I was like, man, like I probably like I'm in a little slump, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like I just like, I never let that affect my game, affect my mindset. You know what I'm saying? I just go back to the gym, trying to get better. So yeah, like I feel like every time like that should happen to me, I'm like, yeah, you just got to go back to the gym, trying to get that confidence back and just bounce back. And you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm going to be great.
How about for you guys, maybe as a team, when just say Thursday, Ohio State just goes on a monster run and just maybe you can't, maybe, find the offense, right away to stop it. What maybe could have been different Thursday before you I mean, obviously guys, you made a late run, but just to do that.
I feel like we start earlier. I feel like we start fighting like kind of late in the second half. Like we felt the energy like the last 5-7 minutes of the game. I feel like it was kind of late. If we started at half, then it would be a different story. But yeah, we noticed that. I know we're gonna be better. We're gonna be more ready next time. I know we got to bring the energy every time. Doesn't matter like the situation. We're down 17 or we're down 1. We always gonna be. We have to play the same way. So I feel like we have to do it earlier in those type of situations to have better results.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Alfonso, on these heaters, has an opposing player ever like said anything to you in the course of a game? Not negatively, but just like kind of taken back by some of the shots you've been making?
Yeah, they always say like great shooting or like some people say you're different or like respect, just a couple words, like saying exchange in the game. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just so focused, like trying to like make shots that I just probably they talk to me a lot, and I just, you know what I'm saying, I'm just focused on trying to win the game. But yeah, like all I heard is like good shots or great shooting, you know what I'm saying, just stuff like that.
I know you obviously did this a lot last year at Utah, but if we were to go back and tell you, when you were at junior college that you were going to be producing at the level you did in the Pac-12 and then in the Big Ten, I'm sure you would have believed us, but to see it all come together like this, what's this been like?
Well, I'm just proud, you know what I'm saying? I'm proud. I'm never satisfied though. Other people think like, oh, you're doing great. Like you should be like Just happy over what you're doing. I'm happy, but but I'm not satisfied. I feel like I got more in my tank. I'm a guy like who I can score 40 today, and tomorrow I'm gonna wake up 8 in the morning trying to get better. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care about the past. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying like every day. I'm trying to find different ways to be better. So I'm never satisfied, but always proud for sure.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Alfonso, just a quick one. Off the top of your head, do you know the record or your personal record for amount of threes you've made in a row?
In a row, 9, junior college.
No, like just like shooting in any gym. Do you know?
No.
No worries. Thank you.
Never tracked out those.
Hey, Fonz, Coach was talking about the Big Ten office and how they're monitoring officiating this year. Is there something when you see Kofi battling against not only the opponents but the way that the game is being called? Have they talked to you about that? Have they talked to the players about that? The office?
About the like repetition, like motor, like trying to get the call back. Talk about like change the call.
Just the way the game is being officiated. Have they asked the players their opinions about it?
Nah, not yet. No, I mean, coach always talk about like they shouldn't call this, they shouldn't call that, but he never like get it, like he never like get that as an excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like he just like they should call that, but at the end of the day, we did a bad job in this situation. We gotta get better at this. So he always trying to find a way to just trying to change the situation when we play the right way. So we never like talk about the refs like that. But yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like the refs are doing a great job. It's just like some situations kind of hard, you know what I'm saying, to deal with those situations. Because I mean, the last game it was a lot of like calls that they missed, but yeah, I mean it's just part of the game. Like you just gotta keep playing, and just go through it. To be honest.